Well, here are some thoughts that create a little uncertainty, a little fuzziness. Questions. If someone with multiple personalities threatened to kill himself, is it considered a hostage situation? Oh, it's kind of uncertain, right? Why do they put Braille on the drive-through bank machines? You've heard some of these. What do you do when you see an endangered animal eating an endangered plant? Can't shoot him, you know. If the police arrest a mime, do they tell him he has the right to remain silent? I like that one. Oh yeah, how do we get the deer to cross at those yellow street signs? I don't know. And why do they sterilize the needles used for lethal injections? Why don't sheep shrink when it rains? You ever seen that? They get a little tighter? Okay, and of course my favorite. Why do they lock gas station bathroom doors? Are they afraid somebody's going to come in there and clean them? I don't know. It's a mystery to me. It's uncertain. Well, Andy Stanley wrote a really good book on leadership. And in it, he's talking to leaders, and he says this: uncertainty is not your enemy. Uncertainty provides you with job security. That's true, isn't it? When there's uncertainty, we need leaders to bring us through it. He says the goal of leadership is not to eradicate uncertainty, but rather to navigate it. That's what Jonathan did. In this story of Jonathan, King Saul's son, let's review a little bit. The entire army's there, ready to go to war with the Philistines. And they're sleeping. It's the nighttime, in the middle of the night. And Jonathan wakes up his armor bearer and says, hey, let's go up there and pick a fight with those Philistines. Just the two of us. Shh, don't tell anybody. Just the two of us will go up there and fight the whole army. Quite a bit of uncertainty in that one, wouldn't you think? And that's what he operates in. He goes anyway, and so does his armor bearer, even though there is some uncertainty. So today I want to talk about how we can kind of navigate through this uncertainty, through Jonathan's example and others in the Bible. The first thing about navigating through this crazy world of uncertainty is to understand how God relates to us. All right? God relates to us certain ways. We relate to Him certain ways. One way He relates to us is on a need-to-know basis. Been there? I can hear some agreement in that one. Need-to-know basis. Now, here's the deal. We are still in the information age. For decades, we've been in this information age. You can literally educate yourself on just about any topic. If you're kind of an initiator and a self-learner, you can learn just about anything, right? I mean, I get tons of information off the internet. Where would my joke bank be without the internet? You know? So because of that, because of this age of information, we kind of have this entitlement feeling to knowledge. We feel like we're entitled to know whatever we want to know. And people who lead us should tell us whatever we need to know. Entitlement. And you would think that in order to have great faith, we need all this knowledge, all this certainty. But if we knew what was to come, if we knew everything, if we could read the future, what would we need faith for, right? If we don't go after what could be a divine moment, an actual moment where something could possibly happen, if we don't go through that, or if we don't have certainty so we don't go for it, you know what we're really admitting? You know, I'm not going to go into this because I don't really know. We're admitting that we don't really trust God. We don't trust Him with our future. Oh, we're not hooked up? Watch out, maybe louder. Terry's back there going, your ear's not on. Okay. If someone with multiple personalities threatens to... Oh, no, I don't have to start over. All right, so we want to trust God. We want to believe that He knows what the future is and can take us into it. Jonathan was willing and he was able to operate in this uncertainty. It was a realm he was in, and he was okay with it. Listen to what it says. 1 Samuel, chapter 14, verse 6. He's saying this to his armor bearer. Come, let's go over to the outpost of those uncircumcised fellows. Perhaps the Lord will act on our behalf. Perhaps God will be in this thing. He understood not everything was guaranteed. There are some things we can know, some things we are not going to know. And here's the key right here. He goes on to say, nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few. What he knew for certain was who God was, how powerful He was, that He could get the job done. And it didn't matter if it was 2 against 1,000. The odds are irrelevant to God. Jonathan had an unwavering confidence in God, in God's capacity. He wasn't asking the question, what is God's will for my life? Recently, I've been going over how many times I pray that. Oh, goodness. Maybe 1 million? I don't know. God, what's your will for my life? I'm starting to see that that's actually a silly prayer. What's your will for my life? Well, David, I kind of told you. Go make disciples. That's my will, so go do it. Get this thing done, you know. It's kind of a silly question, isn't it? The question ought to be, and this is the question I believe Jonathan was asking, how can I give my life to fulfill God's will? All right, and God leaves some of that up to us. We're going to see how that goes. So here's the Jonathan factor. It's when we have absolute confidence in God in the midst of uncertainty. And we kind of know that we don't know everything. There's a confidence in that. Okay, I'm okay with that. I don't know everything. Anybody here like that, or do you just know everything? Okay, I'm okay with that. It's uncertain, but I'm okay with that. Now, if you think this is just for leaders, just for the top dog people, well, think again. Jonathan's armor bearer. It says he was a young armor bearer. That says something right there. Imagine if you were this guy, the armor bearer. Jonathan wakes you up from a deep sleep, and he says, we're going to go up there, up those cliffs, and we're going to just kind of engage in battle with the Philistines. That whole army, we're just going to go. And then he explains to you that the best he can hope for is that God might be there to help you. If I were that armor bearer, I'd say, hey, Johnny boy, great sounding idea, but why don't you wake me back up when you're sure? Think about that. And the armor bearer goes. So he's got this Jonathan factor also. We might think, all right, I don't know if might is even the right word. We probably do think most of the time that provision precedes vision. You know, everything's in place. We've analyzed this situation just right. Everything's ready to go. We know the future. We've been to the palm reader. All the whole deal, okay? And now we can go, now I've got the vision. But the reality, as well as the adventure, is that vision always precedes provision. God will guide, and then He'll provide. He'll guide you, and that's part of the excitement. In the need-to-know relationship with God, one of the wonderful things about living in the realm of uncertainty is that you find the journey with God is full of surprises. It's exciting. Now, it's not always surprises you would like to be there. Sometimes they're good surprises, sometimes they're bad. But at least it's not humdrum. At least it's not boring. Jesus promised us a fulfilling life.